Hey guys, it's Maymay, and today we are making these cards. Not exactly these, I'm going to try something different. I actually made this card yesterday on Periscope, and you can probably still catch that if you head over there. Or go to catch.me/Maymay Made It, and you'll be able to see that video where we made this card. Can you see that dimension? How that piece is popped up in the center? So I did this using the die cuts from My Favorite Things. Let me show you those real quick. They're right here. These are some dies that I carry in my store, and I did this card using this one because I love these dies. They are literally some of my favorite dies. So that's why I did that one yesterday. They look just like this. There's a link to the store below if you're interested in something like that. But today I want to try it using a circle die, which I just picked up at Tuesday morning. So that's what this one is. And I think we might be able to get a pretty cool effect from this one too. We're going to see how it goes. But first we need to do some stamping. So I found this technique on Pinterest. I have been addicted to Pinterest lately, and I have just been clicking on there as much as I possibly can. And so I thought, well, that's a cool little project. I want to try it. So I'm going to be doing some stamping using some distress ink, which, if you're not familiar with distress inks, we're not going to get a full solid image coverage with distress inks. That's just not what they're meant for. But I'm going to get what I'm looking for. I want kind of that painterly look or that watercolory look. So the first thing I did was I cut a piece of paper down 4 inches by 5 inches for the front of my card, and I want to work in the right hand side of the card. I'll show you what I mean. I'm kind of going to put all of my efforts over to the right hand side and leave the bottom left blank for a sentiment. So I'm just going to kind of go up here and start in this area here. Now, because this is distress ink and because I know I'm not going to get solid coverage, I'm letting this sit so that all the ink that can soak into the paper does before I lift it up. It's still going to be splotchy, and that's okay. I want that watercolory look. So do that, and I'm going to clean that little stamp off. And let's do it in another color now. So that's the purple. Let's do a butterfly in pink. The colors I'm using are Shaded Lilac. This one is Spun Sugar and Dried Marigold. And I just go through my little selection of these guys and just grab 3 colors I think look cute together and go to town. Let's put a butterfly here. So I'm gonna let that sit for a second and soak in as much as it can. These aren't the kind of inks that are gonna spread out as you use them. Like, they're not gonna get more solid as they dry. They're distress inks. They're not made to do that, so they're gonna be splotchy the whole time, and that's cool. That's what I'm looking for. All right, so let's close this one up. Let's go to the orange and do a dragonfly in orange. Oh, not this guy though. I want the solid one. Hey, this stamp set is my newest stamp set. It's called Wings, and it is available in the store as of today. So if you want this guy, you can go pick it up. All right, so I got a lot of orange on there. So let's kind of have him come off to the side. Ooh, I wiggled it. I hope I didn't get a bad spot. Let's see what we got. Oh, not too bad. Not too bad. Now I want to put one up here in this corner. I think I'll use the orange again. I know I'm repeating it, but since I'm only using 3 colors, that's really the only option I have. No big deal. So we'll put this guy flying off the top here. Pretty good. Okay. Now then, I'm going to use some VersaFine ink for the actual stitched lines of this set. By the way, let me show you because it doesn't make a lot of sense. See, I used the solid images first, these 2 guys, and now I'm using these little stitched images for this part, so that'll make sense. All right, so I'm going to ink this guy up on my VersaFine ink pad, and then I'm going to try to keep my head out of the image. But here's the thing. If I don't get a perfect outline, I'm not worried about that because I'm looking for the watercolor look. So it's okay if my outline is kind of off and on that image because, you know, watercolor kind of travels on watercolor paper. So there's that one. Let's do this one. Not looking for perfection here, but that one lined up pretty good. So sometimes it happens. When you're not trying, it can happen. Now the dragonfly. There he is, and let's do that top. Something like that. That one's really going to be off because I'm way off. Let's see. Nope, it's just on there, but oh well. So they're either perfect or not perfect. It doesn't matter how those look. Now, I have from an old stamp set of mine, it is called the Bee's Knee. So if you have this stamp set, you're gonna have this little image I'm fixing to use here. This is a little swirly, stitched like flying line. Let me show you what that looks like. If you have this stamp set, it's right there in the corner. I've taken it off of the package. This is from the Bee's Knees, and it's just this little flying like movement stamp. So what I'm gonna do is use it to kind of put some trails on these guys to make them look like they are just flying all over the place. And because it's stitched, it kind of matches the set really well. I like how it looks together. That was a happy accident, by the way. So let's add one here because he's flying around. And let's see, I like to have some coming off the page. So just do some on the edges as well, just to add some movement. Let's do one here for that little guy. Perfect. This set is a Doris set I picked up at Tuesday morning, and it is just called Die Cut Circles. I'm gonna go somewhere about here to start with, and let's just see what we can do. Maybe come in from the side and do a little cut. It's just to do something different, to give yourself a different kind of dimension on the card. Now, one thing I did do, and I want to show you this, I have used the nesting circles, but the one that goes in the middle I skipped. I want to show you what I'm talking about. This one technically goes in the middle because there are 3 that would fit here, but I want a bigger cutout, so I'm not using that center one of the nesting, okay? I'm basically using them that are 2 apart from each other. Does that make sense? Or one in the middle, just to give myself a bigger cut. I think it works better that way. So I'm gonna line this up where I want it. And it doesn't matter really because we're gonna put it all back together, but we're just gonna have some dimension in there. Now I just need a little washi tape, and this is some I was already using. So it has a low tack to it. And I'm just gonna tack this down and hold those dies in place just like that. Now to the Cuttlebug. I have an A and a B plate. I'm gonna lay my little card front down here. This is my C plate. Remember, this is gonna cut this all the way out, and that's what we're looking for. Don't worry about the die hanging off the edge. That's perfectly fine. We're not trying to cut there. So now we've cut through with our die. I'm gonna take this washi off. It's real important that you use a low tack tape or something where you've taken some of the sticky off, or maybe you've used it a whole bunch of times. See how easy that comes off? And I didn't get any tearing. I've used that one a lot. Now I'm gonna remove this circle. Gonna remove this circle, and then I'm gonna show you what we ended up with. So we get a piece here, a piece here. So basically we've created like a puzzle for ourselves. Super fun. Now we need to put this onto a card base. So I have a black A2 size card base here, and I'm gonna take this piece and glue it sort of to the top. I really want more space at the bottom, and I want this more at the top, so I'm not centering this on the page. You could though. Maybe I will this time since I didn't on the others. Let's center this one on the page. All right, little art glitter glue. I'm gonna put some of this on. Glue this guy down. So we'll center it on the page. That won't be a problem. It doesn't matter really. What matters is if we line up our circles correctly in just a second. So now that part is glued on. Now what I do is I take this circle piece and I just put it back where it goes, but I don't glue it down. It's just it's just going to be a spacer for us. And then this guy is gonna get glued straight down. So what I do is using that space, I go ahead and add some glue because I don't pop this piece up. This piece gets glued straight down. And then I just take it and line it up just like we were putting together a puzzle. So it'll look like we've just put everything right back like it goes, but this piece is knotted here down so we can pick it up. And that's where we're gonna get that dimension. Okay, now we need some foam tape. So one of my very favorite YouTubers is Christina Werner, and she gives a tip where if you're putting foam tape on a circle or on a curve, you take the backer off of both sides and you'll be able to turn it easier. And I've never tried it. We're gonna try it right here on camera together because I have never given, oh my goodness, that's super easy. It just goes right around that shape with no issues and sticks down. That was awesome. Let me do the ending part there. So another piece, I'm taking the backer off of both sides of it, okay? And then placing it down, and that curves so easy when you do that. That is amazing. That's a great tip. I think she said she got that tip from a subscriber, so you guys are brilliant. Put another little piece in place. I had it a little too big there, but now it is right. Okay, so this guy's ready to stick down where it goes. Now here's something I have discovered. This type of card works best with a thicker foam tape or a thicker dimensional tape. I tried doing this with some of my thinner kind of foam pop-ups or pop dots, and it just didn't do the same thing. It just didn't give me that cool cut out dimensional look, which is probably hard to like visualize on camera, but it's really cool in real life how you can see that piece is just kind of popped out of that. Kind of cool, huh? Now we need a sentiment. So from that same stamp set, which is called Wings, I'm going to use this sentiment that says, dreams and wings are wonderful things, right down here in this bottom corner. This would be really nice to send someone an encouraging card, or if they had just complete maybe graduation, because you know you dream about graduating. Then I'm going to put this on the inside, but let's make it pretty first. For the sentiment of this card, I'm using words from that same wing stamp set that say, imagine what you can do when you fly. So I'm going to stamp that here at the top. That's three separate stamps that I put together into one, so I get that image. And then I want to play with those butterfly and dragonflies again in some distress ink, but do it a little different this time. So the same colors that I used on the front, I'm going to use on the inside, and I'm going to mingle them on my stamp. So I'm going to kind of do some of this color over in this corner. Then I'm going to take this one, and I'm just going to kind of mingle it on. And I'm just being real sloppy how this gets onto the stamp. And then I'm just going to kind of finish up over here. So just kind of sloppily putting on the three colors. And then I'm going to stamp a colorful butterfly here. And it'll be very faint. That's what I'm looking for, because I want to leave myself room to be able to write. So let me show you what we get there. Look how cool that is. Isn't that pretty? I love that. Let's do it to the dragonfly too and let him fly on the page. So let's start with, matter of fact, I think I'm going to just do pink in the middle. Just like that. Do a little orange to one side. And then a little blue to the other. And then we'll let this guy fly in the page over here. Perfect. Let me show you that one up close. Hard to see that far away. Look how cool that looks. I love it. Just kind of mingling those together. And then you can still write over that with no problem. Now this panel gets glued straight down to the inside of our card, and we are all ready, set, and go. We can put this one in the mail after we fill it out, obviously. Love how that looks. Isn't that pretty? And here's the front. Now, I did some stitching on those first cards I did. Let me show you those again, too. I did some stitching on these. Like you can see, I did white stitching around the edges of that one. I thought that was really pretty. And I did some on this one, too, so you can always add that. I added some Winka Stella and stuff to the butterflies, which I'll probably go back and do to this one. But how neat is that? And cool way to use your dies just for a little something different. Something different than we normally do, right? I think it's just neat. And I was inspired, like I said, by Pinterest. I saw this done that someone took a frame and did it with a frame. It was really, really pretty. So you can do a little Pinterest search for die cut ideas, and there you go. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope that inspired you. And if you're interested in any of the products in today's video, you can check below to my website link and go check those out. Also, be sure to check us out over on our Facebook group, which is called Maymay Made It, and so did I. We're having an upcycling contest this month, so there'll be some cool stuff to inspire you there. All right, guys, have a great one. I'll talk to you on Friday. Bye-bye.